Alright, we're back.
Well, that's all she wrote. I don't have nothing to compare it to, so maybe you'd better just have a look at the results. See if it all seems right to you.
Why did you do it in the first place? That's my question. And honestly, restart. I don't know, my sneak's really low. So obviously sneak. Guns. And repair. See, now if I could get two extra tag skills, I would probably put them in. I would put them in lockpick and survival, because I'm actually very survival. I'm very good at surviving things. I mean, you know, I see something new and I'm like, oh, might as well try it. I see something on the survival channel on like Discovery when it's like surviving, and people are like, I can't eat this. I'm like, have you ever even tried it? And speaking of an old video, which I don't know if it's gonna be uploaded soon or not, but basically, no offense to her, but my girlfriend doesn't like to try new things. We went to Witch Witch last night, and she didn't want to come inside and get anything to eat. And I probably spent about 10 minutes in the car with her, basically sort of threatening her, sort of like jokingly threatening her that if she doesn't come in, I'll like break up with her. And she has these things with her shoulders where she gets pins and needles if anyone touches them. So I was jokingly threatening her to touch her shoulders until she comes in, stuff like that. And I mean, I can understand because of her background. Not gonna go into that because that's her personal life, and I don't know if she wants that to be shared to the world or not. If she does, I might do that later on. But most likely, if she does, I'll let her share it. Just saying. So, because of her personal background, I can understand where she doesn't want to try new things. And I mean, I don't like to try new things all the time either. You know, there's stuff that I just think is gross and I don't want to try it, period. For instance, some scalps. I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I absolutely hated the idea of even trying a scalp. But now that I've tried it, I think it tastes really good. Especially when it's wrapped in bacon. But then again, bacon makes everything better. But, you know, like, she didn't try guacamole. I wanted to try some guacamole, like just a little itty bitty finger dip sort of thing. She said no. The first time I ever tried guacamole was actually at a restaurant. My parents were eating it, and I was like, what the heck is that? It looks gross. It looks like... Since I've had sushi before, my dad introduced me into sushi when I was younger, like around 12-ish. I was like, that looks like a giant spread of wasabi. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm eating that. But once they told me that, you know, it's one, not wasabi, and two, it's not nearly as spicy as that, or even, you know, like, you could take the amount of spiciness wasabi is in general and just like half it, and that's not even close to how much the spiciness of the guacamole was, if you get my drift. You know, so like, you know, jalapeno does not even compare to a ghost chili pepper, that sort of thing. But yeah, but hey, luckily
Before I turn you
convinced her
loose,
that.
I need one more thing from you.
Now my parents don't know this, neither does my Aunt Karen,
so I can get a
but
sense of your medical history.
I told them that she
Just
tried
a
it
formality.
last night and she
Ain't
really
like
loved
I
it.
expect to find you got
I
a
like
family history of getting shot in the head.
Small lie, not that big a deal for me personally. She does not like lying at all, and I agree that you shouldn't lie. But I mean, something that small, I don't think really matters, because I think my parents might get a little angry that I'm going to Witch twice in a row, since it is expensive. And for those of you who don't know what Witch is, it's basically Subway, but where you basically order everything that you want before they start making the sandwich. So they give you like this, you basically have a giant selection of different types of sandwiches, like seafood, Italian, stuff like that. And then in that section there's different types of sandwiches. Under seafood there's crab salad, which is one of my favorites, but my absolute favorite is the surf and turf, which is crab salad and roast beef. Oh, it's so amazing. So, you know, you grab the bag that has the category of the type of sandwich you want, and then you choose the sandwich that you actually want. and then you choose what cheese you want, what extra things you want on there, whether or not you want it hot or cold, what bread you want, everything. And then you just get handed to them. They make you pay, and then they start making the sandwich while you're sitting down just waiting. And I mean, I love it so much. One of the things I love the most about it is the fact that if you went to Subway and you got like the double meat amount, that amount of meat is how much they normally put on us. That's their normal amount of meat. It's not their double amount of meat. It's their normal amount of meat. So it does cost more. So like the sandwich that I had last night was a 14-inch, I believe. And I added bacon, which was $4 for that size, and guacamole, which was $2 for that size. But I basically calculated, taking that off in the drinks that we bought, one for me and one for her, that it was around $18 for that sandwich alone. So I mean, take that in half. That's $9 for basically a 6-inch sandwich. That is a lot, I'll admit, but it is worth it. I'm gonna exaggerate here, but I would kill someone for which. Not in real life, but if I could do it without getting in any trouble and it was a bad person, like a really, 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 really bad person, like if someone told me I would get which for the rest of my life for free if I went back in time and killed Hitler, or kill Hitler when he was a kid, because when he was a kid, just quick little thing here, he was actually quite nice. One of the reasons why he got so bad was because the art school that he tried to go to refused him, and his mom died when he was around 16-ish, and his dad beat him when he was a kid. That's not an excuse for what he did, mind you. But it does sort of explain why he was so bad. I mean, nothing, no matter what, will ever excuse anybody for what they do, no matter if it's good or if it's bad. It doesn't, no matter what your background is, it doesn't excuse you for anything. You decided to do that. You had the choice to not do something, even though it might hurt someone. That was your choice, and you still did it. So that's your own fault. It doesn't matter if you had a bad childhood or not. But that's besides the point. So, since he was a nice kid when he was a kid, I would still, and if I didn't know, if I knew that he might get a little bad, if I knew that he would threaten and actually want to destroy the school that he tried to get into, yes, I would kill him for which for the rest of my life. Because I am an artist, and quick little thing about Hitler, he read a newspaper that basically made him think. Again, this is not an excuse for what he did, but it explains why he did it. He read a newspaper that made him think that the economic issues of his homeland, which was Germany, was because of the Jewish people, because of the gypsies, because of all those minorities. That's why he thought that. So, the newspaper was basically using it as a scapegoat. He thought it was reality. And on that note, just real quick, he actually had a Jewish grandfather. So yeah, it's kind of weird, if you ask me. Let's see here. Considering I'm an assassin, I might go inside the game and change it so that I can possibly I might have some power armor that's light armor instead of heavy armor. And I would probably dial down the armor rating 25% maybe. And I won't be using the helmet, in the sense I don't believe I have any mods that affect that. Affect the, if you get hit in the head, it's actually does more damage or anything. So I think I'll choose 4 eyes. Built to destroy. If you don't know what that is, the flamer that burns twice as bright burns half as long. In other words, if you burn 2 candles at both ends, it's gonna melt twice as fast. All weapons have a 3% chance to critical hit, but the equipment condition decays 15% faster. Just a note about me, I personally don't rely on critical hits, because, it's a combination of the percentage and then your luck, and I mean, by luck I mean in real life luck. because there's no guarantee that you're ever going to get a critical hit. Claustrophobia. You have a fear of enclosed spaces. Probably because of the mutants that live there. You gain +1 special attributes when outside, but suffer -1 when indoors. See, I personally wish that it would, I wish it would, like, permanently, or at least for, like, future perks, you could actually use that extra special ability. And then, like, if you went indoors, that perk, whatever it did, its effect would be taken in half if you weren't at that special level, even though it was -1. That's just my personal thing. Hey, early riser, enjoy a +2 to each of your special abilities from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., but suffer a -1 from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. when you're not at your best. I mean, that's actually a pretty good perk for hardcore mode, if you ask me. I mean, sort of a good perk. You know, if it was from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., then yes, I would like that a lot, because that would be like a normal day. Fast shot, while using guns and energy weapons, you fire 20% more quickly, but your shots are 20% less accurate. I personally go for accuracy more than damage per second, because I prefer I just don't like that. You know, when I'm in a horde, or if I have a really big, tough enemy, I will go for the assault weapon, and I always have an assault weapon on me for that reason. Good-natured. You're good-natured at heart, more prone to solving your problems with your mind than violence. You gain +5 to barter, medicine, repair, science, and speed, but have a -5 to energy weapons, explosive guns, melees, and unarmed. The only thing about this is, I mean, yes, you're good-hearted, good-natured, but that doesn't mean anything about the fact that you can't use that stuff. I mean, melee weapons and unarmed, I think, should not be included in this, personally. Just completely out of there. Since you're good-natured, I would assume that, like, barter, medicine, and repair, and speech would probably be in there. You know, people would trust you to be a good doctor. People would trust you to repair their stuff. People would trust you and probably like you a little bit better, which might lower the prices a little bit. You know, people might trust you a little more, so they might believe what you say. But what does good-natured have to do anything with science? I mean, no matter what, you could be you could be Stephen Hawking and just say that, and say all of a sudden that your new experiment says that 2 + 2 is actually equal to 5. People are going to want to, no matter what, people are still going to want to replicate that experiment to make sure that it's actually true. Because that's how scientists work. That's how science works. Heavy-handed. Your melee and unarmed attacks do more damage, but less critical hit damage. Again, I mean, I wouldn't take this because it does less critical hit damage. Because, you know, critical hit damage does help. But I just, you know, if I have nothing else to take, and it increases my critical hit damage, I will take it. Hoarder. I'm sort of a hoarder. You gain a 25 pound to your carrying capacity, but suffer a -1 to all attributes at any time your weight carrying drops below 75%. Okay, see, personally, I would change the 25 pounds to 5% of your carrying capacity, and instead of 75%, maybe 50%. Because, I mean, that leaves very little to actually loot, quite frankly. Hot-blooded. Anytime your health drops below 50%, you gain 15 more damage, but also suffer a -2 to your agility and perception abilities. That actually sounds really good. I may take that. I've never taken that before, just saying. You have a +10 action point, but your reckless nature causes you to have a -2 damage threshold. No. Just no. You know, I'm the kind of guy that goes for, I'm basically a tank. That's how I play. Logan's Loophole. I've never done this because I like leveling. No one's going to put you out to pasture because you're going to stay young and level 30 forever. You'll never again become addicted to chems, and they'll last twice as long. but after 30 you can kiss experience, perks, and skill points goodbye. I mean, maybe not. I mean, I can understand this. Maybe say that you have a 25% chance of getting addicted to chems, and they'll last 50% as long. And then after 30, you can kiss fast experience goodbye. So basically, like, you would have to, the normal amount of time that the normal amount of experience that you need to get to the next level is doubled. Perks, you get every 4 levels instead of 2, and skill points you only get half of what you would normally. I mean, these things are that way. It's like, it's not overpowered because I don't want those things in there, but it's also, but it's balanced enough that anybody can use it, no matter what their playing style is. That's me. From throwing frags, from frag grenades to throwing spears, you can throw weapons 30% faster at the cost of 25% less range. That's kind of the point of throwing weapons, is the range. I mean, that's really stupid. And not only that, but I never really use throwing spears. I'll use throwing knives and throwing axes. That's it. Besides that, I very rarely use mines, and I pretty rarely use grenades, any grenades. Pulse grenades and pulse mines I don't use. I personally don't understand why they do anything at all. Plasma mine, I can understand. It's an energy weapon, and my personal opinion in this is energy weapons should automatically do like maybe a 10-15% extra damage to all robots and anybody that has power armor on. You know, that would make it sort of more balanced. You know, it does the normal amount of damage. So to make this completely balanced for everybody, it would do the normal amount of damage for anybody that is not a robot or has power armor on. Now on the flip side, guns of any kind would do 25%, not 10 to 15% more damage to people who are not wearing power armor of any kind or are not robots. Now that's not including armor piercing, obviously. You know, armor piercing I think should actually have, maybe not, like, I think it should have a normal amount of damage, and it just has to focus on the DT for the armor piercing. That's it. You know, if it doesn't pierce the armor, it's not going to do a lot of damage. So, you know, it's like sort of like a script check. Did it penetrate the armor? It did. Okay, it does damage. It does the normal amount of damage. It didn't penetrate the armor. Okay, it will do 75% damage. That's what I would do personally. Skilled. You're skilled but not experienced. You gain plus 5 points to every skill, but suffer minus 10% from experience gained from now on. I'm probably going to take that, mind you. Small frame. Due to your small size, you have plus 1 agility, but your limbs are more easily crippled. No thank you. 2 things about this that relate to me. 1, I'm not small. So, not only that, but I've never actually broken any limb whatsoever. I mean, the closest thing I've ever come to broken a bone was I chipped a tooth. Well, 2 teeth, technically speaking. So yeah, that's the closest I've ever come to breaking a limb. Trigger discipline. I actually don't need this because I do this by myself. You know, I have trigger discipline in-game. Even with an assault weapon. The light machine gun and machine gun itself, and Gatling gun, those are the only guns I don't bother. Well, machine gun and Gatling gun I don't bother whatsoever with with trigger discipline. Quick thing about that, I wish like going to iron sights would automatically rev up the cannon itself, or even better, you know, you could have a hotkey that would rev it up for you, and it would just keep revving it up, and it would keep revving, but it would slowly, like 1%, or like a small amount of damage to your weapon for every couple of seconds. It would automatically do that while you're having it revved. So, you know, you wouldn't have it revved before you got into battle. But once you're in battle, and you know there's still enemies around you, it would still be revving. It would still be ready to shoot. So then you don't have to wait. Because that's the one thing I think is bad about those guns, quite frankly. I mean, I like to use those guns when I'm doing like a heavy character. So yeah, I mean, that's just me personally. I tend not to have I tend not to do burst shots with the light machine gun, but I can do burst shots with the light machine gun. I will be adding the Wild Wasteland perk to myself later because I personally think they should be a toggleable option. Well, maybe not toggleable, but like toggleable at the very beginning, and that's it. So yeah, skills.
Alright, I guess that about does it. Come with me, I'll see you out.